access to the Monte Zone will be granted shortly. Please stand by.
We is back now. New year, same Monty though. I've just realised I haven't actually got chat working yet. You know, I was nearly there and nearly, uh, you know, with it, but we've we've had some technical issues with cameras not working, with mics not working, with me not being here. But we have kind of made it um, in some kind of semblance of order. Let me just tonight we are tonight I'm joined by my co-host G Star. Hiya G Star, and our very special guest Daniel Godwin. Hi Dan. Now G, if you'd just like to talk amongst yourselves a minute whilst I get live chat up. There we go. There we go. We're up. Hang on. For some reason, oh gosh, you see, now I said I'd done okay, but no, there's a problem with your your vocals aren't coming through. Why are they not coming through? No, bear with me. Yes. No, hang on.
Testing, testing. Am I
I'll say
okay?
something. Hey,
Hi.
Becky. I'm so glad Becky is there and paying attention. Oh, there we go.
But,
Now we're up and running. Apologies, everyone.
so has everybody missed what I've said thus far?
Yes.
Ah, what?
I, I know,
My
I'm
my
so
intro
sorry.
was so good. Ah,
Oh,
I am shockingly disappointed. No, I'm joking.
it's amazing we're here.
Yeah. Anyway, just to rewind a little bit, I was kind of
Yeah.
doing the whole, yay, we're in the Monty Zone for the first time in 2022, and we're coming back with the a subject that we visited before. So this is the second visit, and it's from a subject matter that was the most popular live stream that we've done on the Monty Zone so far, with the highest number of views. And it is obviously the subject of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and dogmen, wild men,
Dogman.
werewolves, all that
It's
sort
a
of thing.
popular one.
Yeah, so
Mm.
we are coming back at that subject.
Yes. And so the way I think we've got it planned for this evening is G Star's going to be taking us through some of the clips and evidence that he's amassed through his G Star vaults over the past year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be taking a look over them with fresh eyes together with you guys in chat and discussing it with Daniel and deciding what we think of each one, the pros and cons, and yeah, what we think about it all. And if anybody in chat could tell me whether they can actually hear G and Daniel now, that would be fantastic.
That would
Can
be
anyone
good.
hear me?
I
Am
can
I
hear
okay?
you.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Becky said all good. So we're all good.
all good. Oh, that's good.
Lovely jubbly.
That's good to hear. Yes.
Good stuff. Right.
Mm.
So, shall we get cracking?
Crack on.
Crack on. So, what I'm going to do first and foremost is I am going to introduce you to a category scale that I've made for us to use tonight as we're reviewing any footage or pictures or stories. So, I'm just going to bring that up now. Oh, they've added so many features to this. Hold on, bear with me one momento.
While you're doing that, Mickey, are you still in Bulgaria? Are we live streaming in Bulgaria right now? I'm just wondering if we're still international. Yeah, it's good to know. And thank you, Smiler Rainbow. My ranch is even in chat. I've just basically left my family in a restaurant. Hope you're enjoying your cheesecakes. That's all I can say.
I'm almost getting there. They've changed all the layout of this feature, so I'm just learning it all over again. But there you go. It should be ready to share now.
Oh, Mickey, you've got COVID. What?
Oh no.
In Bulgaria? Did I know that?
Well, it's pretty bad if you did, but I hope you're okay. Let us know if you're okay, Mickey, please. You know?
Yeah, just know.
Or if you got COVID before you went to Bulgaria.
Oh no. Oh, that sucks.
Well, we're going to cheer you up with some Bigfoot content. Anyway, Monty, the screen's ready to share.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yes, I'm really with it. There you go.
There you go. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Is that making it bigger?
Yeah.
Oh, but it's got rid of the... Anyway, so yes, here we go. This is kind of just for tonight, I guess. But I've put the kind of footage or the pictures or the stories that we might hear into kind of 4 categories. So as we go through them this evening, you guys tell me whether you think it's a Class A, a Class B, a Class C, or a Class D. Class A is a footage or pictures or evidence that is very believable and seemingly genuine with some evidence. Class B is mistaken identity, pareidolia, no intention of hoaxing, but explainable after investigation. Class C is opportunist hoaxer, believed it might have been something, realized it wasn't, looked like it was in the picture, so shares it for fun. Or took a picture of film and later realizes it looks like something, but knows it wasn't, but still shares anyway. You know, so they're like an opportunist hoaxer. Yeah. Or Class D, intentional hoax and staged. All right. So somebody in a costume, somebody in a setting, CGI, that sort of thing. All right.
Yeah.
And if you want a reminder of them at any time this evening as we go through the footage, just let me know and I'll try and bring them back up again. All sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Right. So, got one more thing to share with you before we get into any footage. If I can find it, there it is. And share screen.
Look at you doing the technical things.
Yeah, I know. Ready to share? There you go. So this isn't the most kind of detailed map of this type that's out there that you can view. I just thought it would be easier and clearer to see, to be honest with you. And basically what it is, it's pretty obvious. It's all the states of America and the number of kind of documented, reported sightings of Bigfoot by state. I believe this map is a couple of years old, so it might not be 100% up to date, but that's not important because we're just going to kind of use it as a bit of a guide this evening as we're going through the things that I'm going to share with you guys. Does that all sound good?
Yeah, I'm really surprised at some of the figures on this.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it?
I'm surprised there's 200 odd in Texas.
Yeah, that's one that really stuck out.
Yeah, well, Texas has actually been quite sort of popular for both Sasquatch and you know, that sort of thing that fits into like a swamp man category, like the big hairy. They're like really dirty and just really ragged, and they're just big.
Mm.
Yeah. So sort of, that's been quite popular. In terms of, I've seen a lot of stuff on social media that's been shared that stems from Texas anyway recently in the last few years.
Hmm.
But yeah, what's really interesting as well is there are other maps out there that I haven't got to share this evening, but if you're really interested, you can look into it yourself.
I'm also surprised at the sort of like, you go down the west coast and that's the hot spots, which we know of. We know that that's the hot spots for Sasquatch sightings. But I'm also quite surprised that the core, the very center of the United States, is where you find the blue lowest ones.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of empty ground out there, and you think, in the middle of everything it would. But yeah, maybe that's because there's also where the least people are. So.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. What I was just about to say is there are maps out there that are actually now kind of making the connection or using the connection of Bigfoot sightings versus population increase. And so they sort of categorize it so you can see on those maps that the really bright areas are areas where there's like quite a heavy increase in population. So a lot of those states that are blue right down the middle, that's your kind of Nebraska and your Wyoming, which are pretty low on population and got a lot
Yeah.
of just open space with no people to see it. But that doesn't. What is another thing that I was going to share later, but I'll just share it now. I was looking at quite a few maps where if you put a ruler from, so basically the most popular or the one with the highest number of sightings is obviously Washington up there in the top left, which has got 676. If you took a ruler and put that ruler down to Florida down there in the bottom right with the 328, and you drew a line, that's where they say that there's movement, or what they've through investigations have kind of offered that there's this sort of pattern of where the most increase of the highest number of sightings happen across that line, or that's where they believe that there's maybe some movement and traveling of the Bigfoot species across that line. But
Where does the line go? Sorry.
it goes from Washington, which is right up in the top left with the 676, down to Florida. So it'd be a line going sort of diagonally across the states, and they kind of like reckon that there's some kind of evidence of pattern of movement between that, across that line. But I didn't think that I didn't decided not to share it this evening because I didn't think there was really enough behind the research in it and why they've made that conclusion. I prefer something like this because I think this is a little bit more relevant because it's actually documented or reported sightings, which there obviously could be a lot more out there in certain places where they haven't reported it. So
I'm surprised
Right.
with 22 in Alaska as well.
Yeah, again, it might be a population thing. So there's just not that many people there to report that thing. But you'd think if we're going to find anywhere, that is where you'd find them. Just up from Washington. It's funny how like one of the lowest number of sightings happens to be right next to the highest number of sightings. It's a bit of a surprise, isn't it?
So anyway, the class rating that I went through with you just a minute ago in this map is something that we're going to keep coming back to as we go through the footage and the pictures, and it's possibly going to have some further relevance. So stop sharing the screen for a minute. So as I said, I'm going to go through the G-Star vaults that have been uploaded onto the channel, which are all about Bigfoot in some relation. So I did the first G-Star vault back in May 10th of 2021 on Bigfoot. It was episode 3 of G-Star Vault. It was called Bigfoot is Watching, and it got 13 likes so far and 10 comments. And so I'm not going to go through what people said about it, but I've got that pure footage that I used in G-Star Vault to share with you. Bear with me a minute. I'll just find it. Did you guys see that already? No?
There's nothing in stream to share.
There you go. Can you control it to play it now? There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll do it my end.
Okay. Oh, it's on your player. Yeah. So you're sharing a screen, yeah, rather than a.
Oh, do I need to share the player, don't I?
I can't. Yeah, I can't.
2 seconds. Sorry about that. Love these technical.
Oh yes. Sorry, I just realised that chat seemed to be a bit small, so I've made it larger. You couldn't read what was up on the screen. So there you go. I don't know what's going on with that today. It's not coming through, G.
Yeah, go. 2 seconds. Let me try something different.
What are you doing?
I don't know. No,
You've got to share the file, not the screen.
Oh yes, I can share video easier. Sorry, yes, I see. This is what happens when you go 6 weeks without doing a live stream.
Yeah, you forget what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So talk amongst yourselves. Do you guys remember the episode that I'm referring to?
Oh,
there you go. It should be up.
I've slept since then.
why? All my settings have all gone screwy. Oh, thank you, Mickey. Apparently, I wasn't coming through. My mic, everything's set to the wrong mic. I don't know why. So there you go. So is that better, Mickey? Am I coming through now? Right, there we go.
Of my first video.
Ah, there we go.
Sasquatch watching
can hear it now.
me. I'm going to go ahead and let it play for a little while so you can see it's an actual video that I recorded. I've been getting a lot of comments saying it's not an actual video. Why didn't you wait and watch them move and all this other thing? Why didn't you approach them? All this other things. But you have to understand, I've been watching these Sasquatch for many years. I've studied their behavior. I know their behavior. They're not going to get up. They're going to sit there and watch me and wait me out. It'll be a waiting game. They know I'm here. They know I'm here before I get there. So as you saw that one Sasquatch watching me. Here's another one right there watching me. I mean, they're here. They know me. They're not going to move. So I will post more videos.
There you go.
Did he post more videos?
Not well. Maybe he did, but I didn't go back and look.
No. Okay, so in chat, what do you guys think? Is it class A, B, C, or D? A for genuine, B for
just misidentified,
pareidolia.
Mm-hmm.
C, accident, but realised it was not right, but posted it anyway.
Hoaxer.
Or just a complete fraud. D.
Yeah, D. So yeah, C is opportunist hoaxer. So they kind of didn't set out to hoax, but then you've got like something that you're like, oh, this looks like something, so I'm gonna make it out like it is.
Mickey says that's you now, because my mic's now correct. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'll tell you what I think it is. Well, do you guys want to go first? I mean, bearing in mind that I'm the least expert on the panel here today. I'm the right novice at this sort of thing, but I think that is D.
Okay.
I think it's B or C. I think it's pareidolia, and he either thinks it's real, or again, he thinks something's not right, but he still posts it anyway. I mean, it's in a forest, it's so busy, it's easy to make shapes and things out of, well, it's pareidolia. That's what I think. But it's B or C. Either he didn't know, and it's misidentified, or he does, and he's still posting it anyway. So, B or C.
But the reason I said D is because I think it's pareidolia, and I think he knows that it is because he says that he's been there and they've come and gone and they know him now and they'll just sit down and stare at him. But if it is pareidolia, he knows all that spunkum. So I think it's just outright. He's just pulling the leg.
He's also just made a fool of himself in the thing. People saying, why didn't you film for longer to see them move? Exactly, why didn't you?
Yeah.
And where's the follow-up videos?
Well,
His
so
TikTok's right there. Shall I have a look?
I will
Yes.
tell you.
Yes.
I will tell you a little story as well while you're looking for that, Dan. So,
Yeah.
first of all, one of the things I was going to cover, which I didn't mention before I started playing it, was that this footage was filmed in Oregon. All right, so we were going to go back
Pacific
and look at where
Northwest, yeah.
Oregon is and where that puts it. Anyway, there's a bit of an interesting story because I thought it may have been you, Dan, but then I also thought it might have been Mickey. And I think it was Mickey that when this particular G-Star Vault went up on to the channel, one of the comments was that actually somebody had looked into him because I looked into his TikTok, right? And on his TikTok, there wasn't any other uploads that were necessarily Bigfoot related. I think there was another one that was connected to this same footage, just done in a different way, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of the content was generally not Bigfoot related.
Right.
So that's what I said on the actual recording of G-Star Vault. And afterwards, Mickey commented, or I think it was Mickey, apologies if it wasn't, it was somebody else, but they said that actually he's got like an Instagram account or something like that, or there's another account on another platform where it shows that he's part of a Bigfoot organization. And so he's obviously in the Pacific Northwest, which is very popular for Bigfoot sightings, and also a lot of, you go to Bigfoot diners, Bigfoot, garages, Bigfoot, museums. And so, yeah, that could be a huge part to play in it. But before I was going to give my opinion, I was going to share where Oregon is, unless you guys straight away know where Oregon is.
I know where Oregon is. Directly
Okay.
below Washington.
Well,
Yeah.
let me go back and share that map. I've already forgot how to do this. No, it's okay. Should be all right. There we go. All ready, Monte? So where is Oregon then? Teach us, Dan, teach us.
If you look where Washington is, it says 670.
Yeah.
Directly below it, you see 254.
Yeah.
And that's Oregon.
Yeah. So it's also quite high in sightings and obviously right smack in the middle of probably the two most strongest known locations for Bigfoot sightings, that being California and Washington. Anyway.
There is a part 2 to that video. There is a part 2.
Yeah, so I did say that he had two videos that were it was the same sort of footage or the same instance.
Yeah, I just looked at it, it's the same.
So my feelings are that it's probably more for me in the realm of Class D.
My God, we actually agreed on something, G.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
never happens.
For the fact that he didn't stay with the camera on the alleged Bigfoots, I'll have to change the D as well.
Yeah, there's a major thing that I had a problem with about the footage from the very beginning, but I always felt that when I started out in G-Star Vault that I wasn't going to just share stuff that I believed was true or genuine, that I was going to share stuff that I thought, I don't think this is true, but then let's see what other people think, you know?
It's
And
interesting to have the discussion about it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I like about it.
So, but the thing that really bothers me about this footage is what he's saying. And he's saying that, you know, he's almost talking like as if he's a friend of the Bigfoots. You know, oh, I see these guys all the time. I know what to do. This is, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I just think that, you know, for me, I believe the phenomenon is genuine, but most people will be lucky in their lifetime to even have one experience. You know, I don't think there's people out there who are like tree huggers with Bigfoot, and you know, and as soon as people start claiming that sort of thing, that's where it loses its they lose their integrity for me. But yeah, that instantly smelt bad to me. And then so in the video, all I could do is there was one part of the footage that looked from a pareidolia point of view. It made it look like the face of a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So that's like right slap bang in the middle of the footage. And, you know, if you go back and watch it, so by all means, go back and watch the G-Star Vault and click another view in there and make sure you like. And make sure you like this stream as well. I know we've had a lot of technical issues, but please, yeah, still like us. We're still good.
Yeah. I was just going to say one other little thing, just looking at nothing against whatever he's called. I'm sure he's a very lovely chap, Mike. No, he's got a very nice beard, and we're all about the beards on this channel, as you can tell. He has a very fine beard. But one thing I was going to say is all his TikToks about when he's camping or hanging out in his garden or canoeing, it's just normal footage, right? All the footage he has about him meeting Sasquatches, it's him recording the footage that he recorded on a laptop and talking about it. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just share the actual footage?
Because I also think that there's something in the fact that through that pixelation, because it'll obviously lose a lot of resolution, it emphasizes the pareidolia that he's trying to point you towards. Because it was obvious that there were so many black, dark areas in that footage that it was, you know, in fact, there were so many that it kind of then helps prove the argument that this is probably pareidolia, because there's just so much patches of shade that's being picked up by the camera as he's panning it through the foliage or whatever it is.
But yeah,
If
it's
you
easy
were
to go
to-
through. Sorry,
Yes.
Dan. Carry on.
I was going to say, if you were to slow that footage down, I bet you could pick up at least another 10 possible Bigfoots in that video alone, because of the shade and the shapes.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, there was that one that was, and you know what, that one was only because of a blade or a branch that was sticking out that kind of made it look like there was a mouth there, and it broke up the darkness. But it was actually quite interesting because when you zoomed in on it, you could actually almost see like cranial outline, very much like, and again, what I was going to show earlier was. There was another picture that I was meant to share that was another sort of class rating for you guys to work from. So I'll share that now so as not to seem too much of an amateur. Hold on 2 seconds.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. Here we go. Ready to share, Monty.
Sharing. There we go.
So within the Bigfoot, there is, generally at the moment, kind of two types of category A, B, and within them there's some types. So I don't know if you can see that well enough, but obviously A type 1 is the patty type, and I don't know what it is about that particular image.
Patty.
Yeah, so from Patterson Gimlin footage,
Oh,
you know,
I
the
see.
one that we discussed in the last show.
Yep.
Yep, from 1967.
Yeah.
So that's the patty type, and that particular image gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't know why. And then in category A, you've got the type 4 as well, which is basically the hominid human-like face.
Yeah.
But they've got to
yeah.
make it. It's not great because they've got to make in a bit of a scowl in that one, so it's a bit drift. And then you've got your type Bs, and within there you've got the type 2, which is the can't see. Hold on, 2 secs. Boom. No, I can't see what the bottom one says. Can you see it well enough to be able to?
It says chimp-like.
Oh yes,
under
chimp-like.
Type 2.
Yeah.
Primate with a snout.
Yes,
Under type 3.
That's the type 3. So, now I think that this picture doesn't do this type particularly good justice because it kind of makes it look like an evil gorilla. But in a lot of cases where it would fall probably into this category of chimpanzee type, they often do have actually brown skin and brown fur. So they wouldn't look like particularly evil. And I think maybe the red eyes is apt. I don't know. Now, the type B, that's the type 3, that's the one that you were saying about with the snout. That's actually one that's starting to surface a lot more in reports and people's accounts, and is believed also to have some relation to the increase in the number of reportings of dogmen. Because it's kind of dog-like with the snout, or at least people are saying that. So anyway, I would say that the type B type, the category B, type 3, is the newest one on the block, as far as I'm concerned, from what I'm picking up on research. Would you agree with that, Dan?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. This is actually the first time I've come across this. It looks like an old lion.
Yeah,
It does. He's kind of got a mane.
Yeah, in a lot of accounts, they also sort of like come across or are described to be baboon-like in the face. So try and picture a baboon, but it's also given some thought or some study to why there's an increase in dogman sightings because, and this is where the two really kind of cross paths. There's actually even some footage out there where people are kind of going, is this a Bigfoot or is this a dogman? You decide, sort of kind of thing, because they don't know. So so I meant to share that earlier on. So as we were going through the footage, you could also say what class it was. We could look at where it was, and then also say what type we think it was, if we think it was genuine.
Do you think that first one gives you the creeps because it almost looks human?
No, actually, I think the other one that's scowling is the one that looks more human.
Yeah, but that looks like a Neanderthal or something. So it kind of registers as being something.
I think it's
like
just
an old human, but I didn't know if it went into that category of uncanny valley, where you get the creeps out of something that almost looks human, like when you get like a bad CGI in a film or something and you're like, oh, that just gives me the creeps because it almost looks human. It almost looks like Carrie Fisher or whatever, but it's not human. It's something other. And that just gives you it leaves you like cold and.
Yeah. I think that the reason why I'm a bit creeped out just with that particular image is because I think it's got quite a dead stare to it. It's kind of just, and its eyes are all sort of like dark and just dead stare. So yeah, but anyway, it's another good one to consider because that's pretty unanimous across like most research platforms that you can look at. That there's those 4 categories, and that's from all the reports and accounts that have been documented and all that sort of stuff. So it's good to take that into account when you're looking at some
Yeah,
of the footage
I hadn't realised it was down, like generally down to 4 categories of Bigfoot. That was interesting.
Yeah. So right, go on,
good
go on.
evening, Kevin. Good. Don't worry about being late. You haven't missed too much, apart from me messing up the stream in various different ways. So it's good to have you on board, sir.
Yeah, and whilst I am just starting to talk about this next footage, what I will do is just for those that are joining a little bit late, I'll just put up the class rating again.
Whilst just sorting yourself out.
Huh?
Whilst you're sorting yourself out.
Yeah, well, whilst I'm talking through the next bit of footage I'm going to share, so if you wouldn't mind sharing the screen, please, Monty.
There you go. That's for you, Kevin.
So
that's just
for you, Kevin. So that we're classifying all the footage that we're going back and looking at, or any new stuff we're looking at. We're kind of trying to discuss it and then say what class we think they fall into. So check the classes out on the screen. Anyway, so the next bit of footage that I'm going to share, it was called Bigfoot is Back, and it was uploaded, I think, in August or September of last year. It was
it's quite a new one.
It was episode 9 of G-Star Vault. It's the 3rd most viewed G-Star Vault so far.
Right.
It had 18 likes and 16 comments. And this footage is filmed in Michigan. And before I share it, one of the things that I'm proud to say on this one is that I uploaded this G-Star Vault, trying to do my own very basic investigation of it, a bit like Thinker Thunker, who I'm a big fan of. And I did it before Thinker Thunker did it, and I kind of tried to share it with Thinker Thunker on some of his videos in terms of commenting and directing him towards our video, because I joined his Facebook site. And he actually liked the post of the Facebook post where I was sharing it. So he had gone on there and watched it and liked it. And then a couple of weeks later, he uploaded his own analysis of it as well. And he did 3 videos actually in total analyzing this piece of footage. I'm going to share a short snippet of one of those videos in a little bit. But before that, I'm just going to share the footage that was used in the actual episode of G-Star Vault. So remember, this time share video. So this is sort of kind of broken down into 3 sections, I believe, but we can probably get along with just sharing one. I've just got the others as backup, but it should be in the studio now, Monty, ready to share.
Oh, this one, yeah. Where there was people saying that it could be someone wading across with waders holding a dog or something, like a fisherman holding a dog. But definitely, you can tell it's not that.
It's Chewbacca lost, isn't it?
It's Chewbacca lost. Chewie? Oh, he's not here.
So there's that piece of footage. I'm just going to kick that out of the studio a moment. Move that from the studio.
Get out of here.
I'll share the next bit of footage because some of them have like a little bit more zoomed in, so it's ready to go, Monty.
Saying it isn't. This is obviously shot with a cell phone at 880 by 656 resolutions. It's 30 frames per second. It isn't the greatest footage. It's all we have to go with. So you be the judge on what you think it is. I don't know what it is. At the end of this clip, I am going to show you some of my favorite screenshots. I'm going to zoom in on the side profile where you can see the nose and everything. And then there's a couple of shots, or at least there's one shot where it looks at the camera. And then I want to also zoom in on the very last frame. Right now, you guys are watching the cropped version. I cropped in on the video, the original.
It's got weird arms, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, it kind of looks like it, but it might just be wet fur.
Could be, yeah.
Anyway, move that one. I want to sort of maybe play one and then pause it so we can talk about it with it kind of,
Paused.
in the background.
Yeah.
Ready to share.
So, yes,
Checked
chat.
on the
Start
side
thinking about
profile
Class
of the-
A, B, C, or D. What do you reckon?
Yeah. So this, I said this one was in Michigan. So
Yeah.
Do you know what I honestly think that looks like? That looks like a Native American, that first bit. With the, I'm not sure what they're called, that they have over the shoulders.
poncho.
Yeah, poncho.
Is it still playing? I thought I stopped it.
Sorry, no, I'm just looking around it, just looking for different screenshots. Sorry. I was playing.
And that looks like a orangutan.
Wow, I mean, is that right arm there? It just the way it curves around. Left arm, I suppose, is away from us. It's very odd.
So let us know, guys, in chat,
yeah.
whether you think it's Class A, Class B, Class C, or Class D. So Class A is it's genuine. Class B is your it's pareidolia or
What do we
mistaken
think?
identity.
It's not
Well,
pareidolia, it's
before you
something
make a
definitely
decision,
there.
before you
Here you
make a
go.
decision,
I'll put in brief. Class A, genuine.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know. How to spell
before
genuine.
anybody makes a
Class
decision,
B.
I will say that, as I said earlier, Thinker Thunker did 3 whole videos on this, part 1, part 2, and part 3. Kept coming back to it because there was certain analysis that he was doing, and then clearly in comments people were putting other things, and then he wanted to disprove them. One of the biggest, most popular comments that came back, not on my upload of this, but on Thinker Thunker's, was that people were saying that it was a guy like a hunter in wading boots or a fisherman in wading boots or wading equipment. And, he went about proving how that couldn't be the case. And it was pretty good, solid, convincing evidence that he proposed. But he's, I think, he definitely leads on the side of, Class A on this. And, you don't often get that with Thinker Thunker sometimes. But there's a lot, you can't see it in this particular frozen point that we're looking at the moment, but there was something that I brought highlight to in the G-Star Vault, which he didn't, and nobody has, but I can't help it, but on some of the zoomed in elements of it, and as I said, not in this particular still that we're seeing on screen, but further down the river, in shots, I see a shadow. And a lot of the time, as this thing gets towards the edge of the river there, sort of where we're seeing the bush in front of us, it looks in that direction, sort of down the river. And yeah, I'm convinced that there was another one there, and it was looking at it as it came out of the water.
So I think we have a consensus. This was genuinely filmed. This is not.
This is either Class B or Class A. But it's very. If you watch, actually, what I'll do is I'll start by.
Couldn't it be C?
I'm just going to start by
guess not.
sharing a bit of Thinker Thunker episode. Oh, actually, I don't know why it's not there. Why are you not there?
So do we think it's A or B?
I have no idea, but where's that video gone? I'll just have to
I
take-
think it's one of the best videos we've seen of the Bigfoot videos on your channel, Gene. It's the one that always makes me think that's strange. That's strange because it doesn't look like anything
Yeah.
you'd normally see.
All right, I think this is the file, but I haven't got the crop. No, that's not it.
Is that not it? Should I not
No.
add it to stream?
No. Sorry, the video file is not where it's supposed to be and not where I prepared it to be. So I've just got to go through my videos and.
So we've potentially gone from one extreme to the other. Then the first video, we've agreed a consensus that it was Class D, fake, and this one possibly Class A.
Possibly. Well, yeah. For me, I said it was either Class A or Class B.
Come on, get off the fence, G-Star.
I mean, there's definitely something there. There's definitely something moving across the river. I'm
And
with
I-
G. I can't
yeah.
decide A or B.
Yeah. I certainly don't agree with those that have said it's a fisherman holding a dog or that it's wearing waders or anything like that. You can zoom in. It's definitely doesn't look anything like that. I think you can see like fur. It looks shaggy in a way. As you say, it does look like Chewbacca or something like that.
Yeah.
Which makes you think.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know where the video's gone.
And this guy, has genuinely recorded that and posted it. And he's out there, if someone was going to try to fake that, why would they go to all the hassle of getting in a suit and wading through a Coal River on the off chance someone might see you, but in all likelihood, nobody would, and nobody would film it. So you were doing all that hassle for probably nothing. It just doesn't seem particularly probable, does it?
Yeah.
That someone would do that. Doesn't to me anyway. I don't know.
Unless they're all one group and they've all set it up.
Unless it is just a really class hoax, and they've stuck to their story all along.
A point someone brought out in chat was, I'd like to know how deep the river was as well.
Yeah, well, I did say in the G-Star Vault that, so I looked into this. The name of the river is called Cass River, which runs through Michigan. And the river itself is, in places, it gets as deep as sort of 6 to 7 foot deep. And then it can range between there and 2 to 3. But it's a very, very popular river for canoeing. And this video footage was taken by somebody who was canoeing. It was quite a lot of distance away from the thing, actually, when sort of saw it moving and tried to take a quick snap of it. So a lot of the footage that certainly I've shared this evening is kind of, it's very zoomed in and it's very cropped, and that's why you lose a lot of quality as well.
So if we're saying that's about 3 foot, that would come up to about your waist. So if where that, whatever it is, and it's 3 foot, it's not a very big foot. If it is a big foot.
Bring the footage up again, G.
Well, I've just found. Well, I'm just going to try and see if I can share. This footage, if it'll work. Is that coming up with anything? Can you let that in? There's nothing there, is there?
There's nothing there, G.
No. For some strange reason, it's here and I can play it on my Windows Media Player. but when I go to do share from, maybe it's copyright protected.
Have you
it's
got the
closed.
last one that you put up?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Can you just bring the last one back up again? I just want to have another look at it.
Yep, bear with.
Hang on. So Mickey thinks it's Class A. Kevin thinks Class A, but yes, he'd like to know how deep the river was.
Just on the side profile of this screenshot. The next one is the...
Waste.
Just take it back to the beginning again. Just going to pause it right
on.
there. Now,
I
do you
was
see-
actually wrong.
do you see it looking off down the river? So its head has got its back as it's
It's
back.
looking down that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you can't see my mouse. I
and-
don't know why I'm saying down that way. You can't see what I'm pointing at.
And do you see the silhouette further down? That looks like a dark figure.
Could that be pareidolia, though, G?
It could be. I
Figure
did say that
further
in the
down.
episode, but
Oh, right, down. I see.
It
under
does
the
make
tree
sense that that's looking that way, though, as well.
yeah, because it turns that way. Because at one point, it's looking at the person that's obviously in the canoe that's filming it. It's looking in the direction that probably sees it, looks back to partner Bigfoot to say, "Oh, there's humans here." Da 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 da. That's what I'm thinking in my head. But yeah, it's just weird because as well, the footage, as I said, is very much zoomed in, so it's lost a lot of quality, and pixelation can make pareidolia. So I'm open to that. All I'm pointing it out for is because it's something that I discussed, but nobody else has. But I do see sometimes in certain bits of it,
Make out the nose of
I see the figure in some of them. But here you go, Monty. You wanted it back up.
See, that looks like a orangutan.
It's definitely the colour of an orangutan, isn't it? But, yeah. I was just looking at the water. The thing that strikes me with the water, because we were talking about how deep. I'll just pause it there a minute. From the when you actually see the video moving, the water's very still, which kind of tells you it must have some depth to it, because if it was shallow, it would probably be running quicker. Generally, the deeper the water is in a river, the slower it moves. It's not always the case. There's obviously a lot of factors to it, how much water, but I mean that's very still water, isn't it? It doesn't tell you a lot, but it's obviously got some depth, I reckon. Yeah. Anyway, who knows?
Yeah, so unfortunately I can't. So all I can do to everybody is recommend that you go and watch some of the Think of Thunker episodes on the Cass River. So that's the name of the river, and it's this particular piece of footage in the sighting has become known as the Cass River sighting. I'm also very proud to say that in the comments to the original video, or the G-Star Vault that I uploaded, there was somebody that on there that lives near where this happened in Michigan, and actually commented on the fact that they had heard people down their local grocery store talking about it, etc. And the people that were involved in this and the people that were out on the canoes were, pretty stand-up, genuine people. They weren't people that. So anyway, it was a good comment to have, thinking that it was kind of quite a local source they were sharing. I think Google links with me as to where exactly the sighting took place. Again, in Think of Thunker, he goes as far as to get satellite images of where this took place, and it's underneath a electrical line, and within a lot of Bigfoot accounts, there's quite a common theme as well that leans towards some evidence that Bigfoot tends to walk along or follow the path a lot of the time in the wilderness where there's electrical lines.
Yeah, I just made the screen a little bigger for those at home who wanted a better view of that. There you go.
Yeah. So that was the Cass River sighting. So what did we end up on there? Mixture.
The consensus was A.
Yeah, I definitely. Somebody was saying to me just a minute ago, "Don't sit on the fence." I think that was you, Monty.
It
Come on,
was.
G-Star, don't sit on the fence. I'm not going to sit on the fence any longer. I'm going to throw myself quite happily into A on this one.
Oh, the fence is comfortable. I'm going to say A or B.
And that's quite hard for me to say, actually, because I would only give A, so far in everything that I've ever seen, I would probably only give A to two other pieces of footage, and that's the Patterson Gimlin footage and also the footage that we talked about on the last Monty Zone stream that we did on this subject, and that was the cam footage from Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah. Have we got that coming up?
No, that's not coming up because it didn't feature in a G-Star Vault, and we've already talked about it on this live stream. So not going to go back and repeat ourselves. So
no.
Yeah. So that was,
Fair enough.
I said, that was the second G-Star Vault, just the second, and already we filled an hour already. So yeah, we go on to the next one.
It took us half an hour to get the stream up and.
Yeah, we're comfortably there though. But it's only fair to expect, really, after a long Christmas break, isn't it? In the first one of this year in 22, gonna have some teething bits going on.
That's right. Yeah.
There you go. So
plus we moved into our new vault. We're now we are now in the vault. So there's some teething troubles after moving.
Yeah. So deep, far down underground, it's hard to get the broadband down here.
It is. It's difficult to get the technology working deep underground.
Yeah. Anyway, so the third installment of G-Star Vault that ventured into the Bigfoot Sasquatch subject was OMG Massive Bigfoot, and this one was uploaded in December of 2021, or early part of December. And it was episode number 14 of G-Star Vault, and it had 62 likes, 31 comments, and I think as of today, 3,350 views.
It's had one or two views.
Yeah, just one or two. So yeah, it's been a pretty rocking one. So anyway, I have obviously and clearly got the original footage that I was talking about in that episode to run by you guys now.
Let's hope it works. It's magic.
In the chat.
You got what?
Got spam in the chat. The only wrench we have today is G-Star. So
get him, G.
Go get him, G.
What do I do?
In chat, if you can, there's little 3 dots next to the end of the. You can click on the little 3 dots at the end there, and you should be able to remove them.
Dad, why is there a video of my father on the screen now?
Yeah, that's what I said. I think I made that comment on the video. It looks like me when I've got up in the morning, walking to the bathroom.
So this one was filmed. Wow. Oh, we didn't go back and look where Mitchkin was because the last.
Oh,
site...
yeah.
Yeah, we need
that first.
Yeah, we need to go and have a look at that. So let me just remove this from studio in a minute. So, first of all, I will quickly share a image of where Mitchkin is, just in case anybody is not in the picture of where Mitchkin is. Here we go.
Oops, sorry, everyone. You might have disappeared there. I do apologize.
Already. To share. Oh, we paused.
Sorry, I was getting rid of the other. I was getting rid of the other chat mess thing. Anyway, sorry, apologies for that.
So that's where Mitchkin is, where the Cass River sighting was filmed. I've got to be honest, because there was a point where I could name you exactly, because I obviously went to school in the States, that I had to name and know where exactly every single state was. And over the years, I seem to have forgot that that's where Mitchkin was, even though I know that Mitchkin is near the Great Lakes. So anyway, interesting to find out that that's where it is. Lovely jubbly. So let's go back to...
Also, just to let you know, the Cass River kind of runs through the middle of it. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Precisamundo. And so going back to our original map that we were looking at earlier with the Bigfoot sightings, let's go to Michigan.
Yes, and with Niagara Falls on the border.
And you can share it, Monty.
Which one? This one.
No, yeah. So Michigan is pretty high up there, to be honest with you, with 220. So it sits in the most sightings category, being that it's orange. Yeah, so pretty popular for Bigfoot sightings. So if we're going to, like most of us sat in A or B on that one, you know, and it's a pretty comfortable place to be sitting in when you know it's taking place in somewhere that is quite high up on the old Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one. And Kevin's just said Niagara Falls is on the border. Yep, true.
Yep.
True that. Right, so moving on to the next one that I was just talking about. So that was OMG Bigfoot Back. I was sharing the video.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're hoping now sharing this video in this stream is going to do the same thing for this stream as it did for that video.
Yeah, let's see if that's
see
true.
if this viewership of this stream suddenly goes up.
Share the video again.
There you go.
So, do you guys know where this was filmed?
My bedroom. No, don't know.
It's done by the local co-op, isn't it? Just past the,
It's got a very gorilla-ness about it, hasn't it?
Yeah. I've got such an interesting story to tell you about this as well.
If a gorilla suddenly got up and walked upright like a human, that's what it'd look like.
You can see there's some girth to it as well. You can see it is big.
Yeah. Well, so this is like this is quite interesting that you brought that up, because generally I said that there was 31 comments to this video thus far. And so that's pretty, even for a video that's been, I've seen a lot of videos out there that have had 10,000 or 1 million views and they've still only got like 70 comments or something. So sometimes it doesn't get a lot of people talking, but I feel that this one, both on my video and where you see it on other platforms and other people's shares, it's being talked about a lot. And it definitely splits everybody down the middle. Because people are either like, this is too obvious, man. This is somebody in a suit. This day and age, it is quite plausible and possible for somebody to kind of make a suit like that and be a part of, they actually do costume effects for a living. And they could easily make that at home as well, out of prosthetics and various different things. But then that the girth that you've just talked about and the muscle mass of it is the one thing that the other side of the people that sit on the other side of the fence are saying that to make that definition in a suit would mean that the person inside would have to be really, really small, because it's like, so it, they've zoomed in on it and it's so tight to the skin that it would be very, very, it would still have to be a really large, sorry, I got it the wrong way around. It would still have to be a really large person in the suit, because it's to the skin. It's like, to make that kind of definition, because you see it moving as well. So like, as it's moving, you can see that definition in play as well.
It's definitely got a booty.
Yeah, but it's also in the arms. If you're looking at its upper arms, now its walk, there are certain things about its walk that are very common within Bigfoot sightings and footage, and that is with the head forward, kind of.
It looks a bit like Patty as well.
Yeah. But the angle of the legs when it walks doesn't a lot of the time hit that 90-degree shin angle that is again being picked up by quite a lot of investigators throughout.
Can you explain that one for me? Because I saw a number of people in the comments of your video, of G Star Vault's video, saying about the 90-degree angle on the leg. Now, just for us normies out here who don't understand these things, what do you mean by that?
I'll Dan, did you want to explain, or
You carry on.
okay? So basically, you know, a lot of people that have looked into this sort of thing, like people like Thinker Funker, who do a lot of video analysis, and he's obviously quite a pro. He's like shared a lot of footage of like both women and men, like humans walking, and most of us, as we walk in a normal walk, our leg from our foot to our knee will go at about a 40 to 50 degrees angle as we're moving along, as it goes behind us, right?
Right.
But in a lot of footage of Bigfoot, and certainly with the Patterson-Gimlin footage, what's been acknowledged is there's a lot of like 90-degree angle, which instantly proves that it would be very hard for somebody in a suit to try and have a normal gait of a 50-degree angle and trying to be walking with a 90-degree angle.
I see.
And it's because of the size of their thigh as well, because for us, and how their leg works, because for us as humans, you could imagine somebody would look really ridiculous moving their shins up 90 degrees when they're moving. It would be all kind of weird. Whereas with a Bigfoot, it's different because the leg is positioned different, a bit like a gorilla. So yeah, so that it's all about that. And on this footage, if I can just play it again, is it playing? It doesn't really get up. The heel and the leg should be moving up a lot higher. But then other people have argued as well that in, like, say, for example, the Patterson-Gimlin footage, it's believed to be a female because, as we discussed on our live stream, you can see breasts and stuff on the creature. And this is definitely felt to be like it's a male. So you never know, within the species, the male and the females might walk slightly differently. So there's different things that sort of kind of go a little bit for this footage, and also things that go against it. And that's why I think it splits a lot of people down the middle. And that's why a lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah. Good evening, Dan M, who's just joined us. He's home from football training. So thanks for joining us, Dan. And Kevin asks, do you think the arms are swinging enough? And questions the stride length.
For me, I'm pretty sure Kevin watched this G-Star because I'm pretty sure I can remember him commenting on it. So, but if you remember, Kevin, I was saying in that vault that for me, the arms weren't long enough as well. That was the other thing that was swaying me off, because ultimately, when you see the arm swing, that hand or that arm, again, on most known kind of credible better footage or photographs, it's more seen that the arm sort of on a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch kind of ends around the sort of top of the, just above the knee, really, like almost very long, like a gorilla. But on this, it seemed to be, or it seemed normal length. But again, that's what I said in the video. But a lot of people in the comments have argued that point against me and said, actually, they feel that it's the way it's holding its hand, and it's got its hand in a certain kind of position. Because again, if you watch the footage and you watch the hand movement, its hand is kind of sort of like arching out like this a little bit. I don't know why it's not playing. Is it playing? Or it's just, yeah, it's playing. Yeah, there you go.
Playing.
So you see the way the hand's like a little bit curved, but I don't know. Yeah, so you could keep going into it, and again, that's why it's interesting. There's a lot of things that, but here's the interesting story that I only found out when I was trying to prepare for this live stream. Right. So online, this footage at the moment exists on a website for, I think it's The Independent. And there's a link to go and watch the video, right? But it takes you, or there's some sort of platform anyway, where if you follow the link for the video, it takes you to a kind of website, and they have a category within that website that's called WTF. and then this video features in it. So I'm thinking that that's led to a lot of how the videos kicked off, because the video is entitled WTF. That's a Bigfoot. So it's the same video under the same category, WTF. So anyway, I just thought that was funny because, you go into this website and it's got tabs across the top, and the tab that the video is in is WTF.
Interesting.
So anyway, as I said, this is Idaho. Or did I say it was Idaho? Or was it
Idaho?
Guess?
Yeah. No, I don't think you had said that, but
You hadn't said that, no.
Okay, so do you want to know where Idaho is?
Is that
next
around
to Washington, isn't it?
Well,
is that the one?
Yeah, sort of top leftish.
Got to remember, I just got to open the picture first.
I'm sure it's right next to Washington. I could be wrong.
Keep forgetting to open my pictures.
No, I think you're right, Dan.
It's ready to share, Monty.
Oh, is it? Right. Oh, he knows his stuff, doesn't he? He knows his stuff.
So it's right next to Oregon, which is where our first share was from. There you go. Kevin's straight in there. Top Midwest. So, yeah. Idaho. Right. So let's go back to our map of Bigfoot sightings.
Yep.
And find out what the number is there. Ooh. It's ready to share, by the way.
Quite low, surprisingly low. But is that, again, what's the population of Idaho?
Exactly. Again, yeah.
Yeah.
But around that whole patch there, so if you took the last corner chunk, of Oregon, and the bottom bit of Washington, and some of the top bit of Oregon, that is just pure wilderness around there for hundreds and hundreds of miles.
So Idaho, 1.787 million people.
Yeah, 1.7 million. And you look at the size of it, Washington State is 7.6 million. So
that's a lot of
population
extra space.
density.
Yeah,
it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting, isn't it, making these comparisons to see if there's any commonalities between.
Yeah. That is interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think in chat then, from everything we've said about this footage, Idaho? Can we go back? Can we bring the footage back up? Do we think it's class A, B, C, or D? What was B again? I think it was B was filmed genuinely, but could be like pareidolia, wasn't it? Something that was B.
Yeah, B is mistaken identity, pareidolia. There was no intention to hoax. The person's just, got mistaken, and investigation would prove that along the way. And then class C was opportunist hoaxer. So somebody wasn't necessarily intending to hoax, but just came across someone on the camera that looks like something, or they thought at first it looked like that, and that's why they were taking the snap, but then they realized it wasn't, but it still looks like it on the picture, so they decided to share it anyway. And then you've got your blatant class D, they're just staging it and they're completely hoaxing.
Archie, you've missed me this evening, haven't you? I'm going to controversially say I think this is either A or D.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. I just said that it splits people in half. And there's two people the size, and it's impossible as well to class this as B or C, really, because it's so obvious what it is. It's not hiding behind a bush. It's coming out from behind a tree, but it's right in your face, as footage goes. It's not hiding anything, and so it goes against. So here's where you got to get deep, right? And you got to get into the psychology of these things. Okay, so it goes against everything known for people who intentionally try to hoax and fake. Because most people that try to hoax and fake try to hide a lot of so leave a lot to suggestive mind. Yeah. So, and it also minimizes how easily they can be debunked. Because if you don't show very much and leave a lot to suggestion, but this is so blatant. It's like this is a huge creature walking out in the open, filmed in such a manner that actually it's been zoomed a bit, but it's still pretty good quality. You can see a lot of like how its hair looks very tufty on the top and very ragged and almost dreaded. Yeah, it's and that's why I think it just puts you can't go at sea. That somebody was just opportunist, or oh yeah, somebody just happened to walk along with a great big bloody suit. I'll do this, you know.
No, because it's kind of like Hollywood special effects quality suit you got going on there. You know, that's an expensive piece of equipment. You know, but shall I tell you why I'm airing on Class D?
Yeah, go on.
Just possibly because it's coincidental, but this is filmed in amongst a lot of baby saplings, baby trees, small tiny trees, which adds to the illusion that this is a lot bigger and heavier than it otherwise may look amongst big trees. If you know what I mean?
So you
And I think that's possibly the intention, that it's someone in a suit, and they thought, well, let's film it amongst these small baby trees to make it look bigger. You know, might not be, but I'm just saying that's the thing that sways me into thinking it's D.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to, because certainly in this shot that we're seeing on the screen at the moment, it looks like shrubbery, but it'd be interesting because I think later on in the footage it sort of pulls out a little bit and you can see more of the landscape around it. So it would be good just to remind myself if that is the case.
But yeah, as Kevin said, this could be the best genuine Bigfoot film maybe ever, and we're just dismissing it.
Yeah, well, actually,
that's the danger, isn't it?
Kevin, we're not dismissing it. Some of us are dismissing it.
I'm not. I'm just
No.
Towards
everybody's entitled. You know, at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinion and entitled to judge it as they deem. But there's one overriding thing for me on this footage that makes me lean more towards the A, which might shock a lot of people. And that is that the person that filmed this, this footage in the Bigfoot circle and community and on social media has just, you know, it's created such a buzz and a sensation, and most places that have featured this have got so many hits on it. And it, as I said, you know, like digital newspapers like The Independent have now picked it up and stuff several months ago. But the person has not come forward and made anything out of that. And
you could tell the way you're... Sorry, Dan.
It makes me happy.
What makes you happy?
The fact that the person hasn't come forward.
Yeah. Well, they obviously...
Not that they've not come forward, but they've not made a penny off it.
Yeah. So the only perplexing thing that could crash and burn that is that, according to MVTV, where I first came across it, and then it was removed from... So I don't know if you watched The Vault and heard this explanation, but it was removed from YouTube. I had excuse me, sorry. I had saved the video and went to go back and watch it, and it wasn't there. So then I went to MVTV, the channel, and found out that they only had about 5 videos. And I know that what's going on, because I know that MVT has been going for quite some time, and they have some sister channels as well. So I think I Can't Believe This was captured or whatever. Now, and then it's still not uploaded. It's still not sourceable from their channel. If you go to their playlists or previous videos or whatever, whether it's just not got full visibility at the moment, I don't know, and they've made it private. But I had to take it from another guy that had uploaded it, which I randomly came across, who I think I told you, Monte, along the way. He had 10 subscribers. And I've been able to find it through the digital publication websites. And yes, you're right, Kevin. MVTV do put out some rubbish, and that doesn't help. So either, and in the MVTV, what they do is they go on to explain that this was a viewer that shared this footage with them. Blah blah blah. It's this person. They were doing this, or this is really shocking. So if it's somebody who submitted it to them, they've made nothing out of it, and it doesn't highlight their name, and there's not a lot of talk about who it was. Or it's MVTV themselves who have generated this video. So I don't know, but in MVTV's kind of thing, they don't really do their own sightings, and if they do, they kind of say that they are. So I've recently seen a video which has got the guy, I think, behind this channel, and he's talking about an experience that he had, and he had a bit of footage. That footage is pretty interesting. I want to look into that in a future vault. I don't know if you've seen that, Dan. It's the footage in the tent with the Bigfoot's face in the tent, but not just a Bigfoot, but also a grey alien.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Heard that.
So he is known for saying, this is something I've snapped, but when he snapped it, he does a whole video saying I snapped it, and he didn't do it for this. He said it was somebody who sent it in to them from Idaho. And so so if somebody's not trying to make something out of it, it's a bit like, why would they go to that expense and that effort? Because that's a pretty good damn suit if it's a suit. So there's some logic behind some of it that you've got to go deeper sometimes. And so I don't know if it is, but I tend to feel more lean into the A now.
So what do we get? What do we get in chat then? Kevin is airing on D.
Yeah.
Mickey was airing on D. Daniel, what do you reckon?
There's been a lot discussed. The 90-degree leg movement. We don't know what he's walking on. We can't see the floor.
No.
It could be all uneven, and he's just taking little steps, just being careful, because at the end of the day, they've got to be, haven't they? You know, they're not superheroes. Arm length. Again, I agree with the bow. I don't know. I don't
difficult
know.
one, isn't it? It's really difficult. It's
for me, you can see it's mass, and if that is a man in the suit, it's also got to be a very big man.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry I said tiny. I got myself all mixed up on what I was saying. But yeah, it's got to be a pretty big person.
Yeah.
Because even so, I forgot to say how they came to that conclusion. So they've actually had costume experts look at this, and it's the costume experts that said if that's a costume and somebody's wearing a suit, that's a pretty big person in a suit, because that costume has to almost be pretty skin tight, because to create that kind of muscle definition in a suit. Because it can be obviously built into the suit, but then you don't get very much movement, and it'd be really obvious. Whereas you can see the muscles moving as he's moving. So, it's definitely either somebody very large and broad and stocky in a very tight-fitting suit with hair on it, or it's genuine. And again, I think it just if you're going to try and fake something, don't leave yourself so exposed as this would to analysis. But I'd love to see Thinker Thunker get hold of this one, and he's not done one on this yet, so it'd be really, really interesting. And maybe he would raise the points that you were raising, Monte, about the fact that it could be a lot smaller than what we're thinking, because the trees around aren't actually trees and they're baby shrubs.
G, what do you think of Todd Standing? Oh, Todd Standing. I think his name is He's Got Stuff on Netflix too.
Yes, Todd Standing is known to me, and I'm pretty sure he's probably known to Dan as well.
I didn't Todd
Never heard
Standing,
of
that's
him.
his name.
You've never heard of him, Dan?
No.
Because he
Okay.
put a small s on Standing, I thought it was Todd Standing. I couldn't grasp the sentence. Sorry about that, Kevin.
So,
I can't even read.
I hope I'm not offending, but I am not a fan of Todd Standing, and I don't think his reports and the things that he's shared are very credible. I think, some of the stuff that he's done could be quite interesting if it wasn't for him as a person. I don't believe him. No, I'm not a believer that Todd Standing is genuine. If Monte, you Google Todd Standing,
I'm doing that now.
Bigfoot images, you'll see what the one I'm talking about. It's quite commonly shared. I shared it it was the thumbnail, I believe, for the very first Bigfoot G-Star Vault that I did. The Bigfoot is watching. I used Todd Standing's picture, so maybe that's why Kevin's asking me. But I just thought it was very. I kind of put the two people into the same category, really.
That's 100% a Bigfoot.
I can't see it, to be honest, Dan.
No.
Is it this? Can I?
That's the first image that's come up.
Yeah, I'm looking at stuff, but I don't.
That's not what I'm thinking of.
When I googled Todd Standing,
That
images,
image just there in the top left corner.
This one.
That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. So he's discovering Bigfoot, Todd Standing. And he's got all these images of where, again, he's got really close to, this Bigfoot family, and they're really familiar with him and they're comfortable with him, so he can get up close and he can take pictures of them, and they don't mind, and they stand there and they pose for him. And all of these pictures are really crystal clear. But as you can see already from the picture that's in the middle, second row.
Thinker.
Yeah, Thunker's ripped him apart, in saying that most of the images are his face wearing a suit, and he can show you why, because all the nose lines up exactly right, perfectly with the mouth. And so I'm staying with the Thunker team, because I didn't tell you, I should have mentioned earlier on when I was talking about Thunker, I couldn't share the video, but in the beginning of the video, Thunker mentions his Thunker thinking team. It's a group that he's made on Facebook, and I'm actually part of the group, and he's accepted my request to be part of the group. And so you get all of this content that other serious people within the Thunker investigation kind of mindset are sharing, and question it. So I will really hope that I'll be able to get some really good heads up on footage or imagery or reports that are going on.
I like they did a blended between his face and the Bigfoot's face.
That top left-hand one, the first one you brought up,
This
is it
one.
me, or does it look like something from the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah,
It's that's a bit.
It's too prosthetic looking to be something real. Like, I think, there's a lot of people out there, probably out of 100, there's probably about 85. No, maybe that's a little bit too high. Maybe around 45% that would look at that and go, that's real. Because they're kind of fooled by that kind of thing. And that's why people
Let's be honest. 85% would probably look at that and go, that's real. Because 85% of people are stupid. Let's be honest. There's no beat around the bush.
Yeah, so anyway.
Becky says, no, it's not you, Daniel.
So you can see,
it's got too much hair on the top for Dan.
Yeah.
You can see that, why I'm a fan of Thunker, and why also for me, it's very hard for me to say to that video that was from Idaho, the one that we were looking at last, to say, I think that's real, because it's something that could easily be hoaxed. But if it was easily hoaxed, there's a pattern of behavior that would happen around that hoaxing, especially with the attention and the success that it's getting. And that just hasn't appeared. And so that makes me, question it. And also the fact that it's so blatant as well. Again, hoaxes are people of as far as I'm concerned, low character, and therefore they want to hide and be in the shadows as much as possible with the things that they do. And I don't think that a hoax would be as blatant as that footage. That's why I think it's real.
Dan M says it's sensationalism rather than anything legitimate. Sounds a bit like the History Channel.
So I haven't got the facts, but obviously there was another Bigfoot G-Star Vault, which was really recent, which was uploaded about 2 weeks ago. I haven't actually got I ran out of time to actually get the information on that one, so I don't know about views and stuff like that. But this was called...
Have a look for you now, G.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah. BFD, which stands for Big Effing Deal.
Oh,
big,
that one I mean.
Yeah, BFD. Big Effing Deal. And Bigfoot in the UK. So thought I'd talk
Here we
about
are,
the
G.
subject.
Got 95 views, 12 likes, and 9 comments.
Yep, and I think it's 2 or 3 weeks old, or a month.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's pretty good.
Gone? 11 days old.
11 days old. So yeah, it's really recent. But I have the images that were discussed in that. So let me start off with the first one. Gotta open it first. Remember to always open the picture first. So what was the first one? That was the...
While you're finding that, Dan M said, is that image Chewbacca's stepbrother?
Yeah. I mean, it does look that way, doesn't it? I thought I had a second picture of this one. Don't think I have. Gonna have to just use that one.
And Kevin makes a very great point. If you're in amongst Bigfoots like that guy purported to be, why would you not grab some hair or scat for DNA? You know?
Exactly.
That's it. I'm not just judging it on
pull
those...
hair off his own suit.
I'm not just judging it on those pictures, by the way. My opinion of Todd Standing. I'm judging my opinion based on the things that come out of his mouth.
Oh no, that's the wrong one. Why is that still there?
I don't know.
I meant to have that one. That one?
Yeah, that's the one. So this was the first image that I shared on the last Bigfoot G-Star Vault.
Can you zoom in a bit there, G?
I can try and zoom in a bit. Yeah, let's give it a go, shall we? Any better?
That's a bit better.
Coolios. So this was not apparently. This was taken
I'll go
in
big
Sussex.
screen for people. Here we go. There you go.
In Sussex.
Yeah, this was taken in Sussex by a 34-year-old lady who was out walking her dog, and she was in a wood somewhere, and she came across this and took a picture before it disappeared behind the tree. And yeah, that's so Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D.
D.
That's not a lot. That's not a lot of information to go on.
That looks like a man.
Yeah.
That's Class D. But not Class D, no.
Or accidental. Do you think she just took some photo?
She either genuinely thinks it's a Bigfoot, or she's looked at it afterwards and gone, oh, that's a man. I'll just play dumb.
I can't even make out what we're looking at. Is that trees?
You look at the face.
It's trees, yeah.
I'd say that's trees.
That in the middle of the picture is a tree trunk. That's a trunk of a tree.
Could it be pareidolia?
Could it be pareidolia? I mean, if it's a photo,
I think it's too dark to be pareidolia.
No, that's definitely something there.
Yeah.
That's a man.
Shadow. What it looks like to me, and it doesn't come out great on this screen, obviously, because I've ripped it from something else, and and it loses its quality. But if you go and have a look at it online, it basically almost to me looks like somebody in a fancy dress ape suit, like one of those cheap ones that you can buy.
Oh, so you think it's D, like it's just a mix?
Yeah, I think this is somebody, and she's gone by name as well, whereas you know, again, I'm not saying that if you have a genuine experience or sighting that you should hide your name, but obviously she's not afraid of gaining some notoriety from, you know, sharing this picture. But that's not an overriding reason. I just think that when I look at it, I see that sort of cheapy fur that you get on a cheap fancy dress monkey suit. That's what I see.
If you can find the big image, it looks like Marv from Home Alone. The face.
So that was the first image as we took the journey into the Bigfoot sightings in the UK. The second image, this one was coming from Scotland. Yeah, Scotland. And it was another dog walker. Much bigger image. Ready to share, Monty?
Okie dokie.
So this one was taken in Scotland near Inverness, I believe, by a gent who doesn't go by, I don't recall a name being shared, but was supposedly out walking his dog. Obviously, what's in the background is the original image, and then it's kind of been zoomed in on that section, which, you know, you see what you see. So what do you see, guys? What do you see?
I see. I'm thinking maybe a bush.
The thing that throws me off is the arm.
The arm, it just looks like a wavy, like... Wow, that, it could be hair, actually, though, couldn't it? It does looks wavy like hair, but it doesn't look like an arm.
No.
Unless it's holding on to something, like a young. That's why the fur looks the same, and it almost looks like the same part of its arm. But it's hard. It's quite hard to say 100% that is fur that you're looking at.
No.
What I love about this image, though, and I said it in the video as well, and I'll keep saying it, is I love being able to look at what it looks like without the zoom in, because, you know, I don't know what that is, but that adds like a certain air of normality to me, because like, I don't know, if you're looking at that, if you took away that enlarged bubble, you'd be like, what is that in the background? Just looks like a thick bottom to a trunk of a tree, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. And again, when you zoom in like this, you do lose a lot of detail and resolution.
Yeah. So there was one thing that I didn't mention in the G-Star vote on this one, and it's something that I do really feel I need to consider. And when I say it, you guys might think about it as well. But the thing that I didn't discuss, and that I think it's relevant to say, is that the bubble and the enlargement may not be the same picture as what you're looking at.
No, I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is either. No, yeah, it is.
And that's
it
the
is.
trick.
It is the same image, but they might have taken multiple shots. Like, it might be two different images. It's the same thing. That is there, because that is the tree. You can see the little branch coming off.
I mean, that's a hell of a zoom as well. This kept
but I think they might have taken this first image and then zoomed in and taken this second image and then composited it over the top. But I mean, that is that. Because you can see the tree, you can see the stick. It is all pretty much right. I think.
Anyway, then, so let us know in chat. Do you think this one is Class A, B, C, or D?
I think this one comes under the class of WTF.
Which is?
I don't know. Well, you just can't make it. It's a blob. I don't,
In all seriousness, I think B.
B, yeah. B's the right one, isn't it? Yeah. Well done, Daniel. B. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know what it is. It could
I
be
would have
something.
changed my mind It's real. No, I'm sticking with B.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, that's a good point that Dan makes. That the height of the tree line is huge. So even well, that would be good to do some analysis of how tall you think the thing is in the background there, because how tall are these trees? So that could actually be 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Could it be a shaggy dog?
Could be.
I mean, this could be it could be a paw. That could be like that could be a back leg and a tail that we're seeing on the other side of the tree, and this could be the front legs and a head at the top looking behind itself.
That's a Shetland pony.
Or it could be. It could be like a Shetland pony in a field, couldn't it? Yeah, Dan, I think you could have it. Yeah, I think it could be something like that.
That's something on 4 legs.
So it does look like something on 4 legs.
Yeah.
Pony. I quite like that. Where was this taken? Do we know?
Yeah, it was taken in Scotland near
Shetland. Oh no.
Scottish pony. Anyway, I do agree that this one, I think there's a lot about this one that has to sit in Class B. I think it is, potentially pareidolia. I don't think the person intentionally wanted to stage or fake anything, because I don't think there's enough for you to grab hold of to go, yeah, they were trying to be seen. So, yeah, I sit with Class B. What about you, Monty?
I reckon B.
Yeah.
And I reckon it's a pony or a dog or a shaggy cow. I don't know. It's something like that.
Okay, well, in the next picture, Bigfoot Sasquatch is going on holiday and is making a short trip to Northern Ireland. In this next image, ready to share, Monty? I'm just going to zoom that in. That's terrible.
That's a ghillie suit, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing on this one. So this is Antrim in Northern Ireland. So
it's Mickey after a bad night out.
Is Mickey still with us? If you're there, Mickey, let us know if this was you out for a late night drinking stroll. Yeah. So I don't know, again, if you guys watched the vault where I discussed this image, but there's something about this image that, definitely screams pareidolia for me.
Maxine Caulfield was out walking her dog when she snapped this in the woods.
Yeah, it's a lot of dog walkers. In the video, I was saying, I've got 2 dogs, so I should start walking them in the woods more. Maybe I'll see something.
You got to take more photographs when you're out and about and then analyze them when you get home.
Yeah. The weird thing is I do slightly see a face. Just if you look just in the middle bit, you can almost see what looks like a nose and an eye socket right on the very end, like as if it's got a very small face but a really big head.
Is it behind something? Is it kneeling down? What is it? What are we actually looking at here?
That's a tree trunk where we think. I see what you mean, Monty, but that's a tree trunk, isn't it? That from a tree that's been felled.
Yeah, well, I said
no. What's a tree trunk? What in the background there?
No, do you know where you said is it kneeling down?
Well, only because. Well, I mean, yeah, because the white stuff on the floor, that's the floor. It's been snowing. And looking at the size of the head, it's like it must be planted in the ground because it's missing its legs. Isn't it?
Yeah. It's the ground that it stood on is lower than the ground where the photographer is stood.
Oh, like it's in a hole.
Yeah, or just on a lower ditch or level. But it's really funny that there's quite a couple of things that, Dan's pointed towards one that you've got a stump of a tree trunk that actually looks like it could be the bottom of a leg that's walking and stepping out, but it's
That's
not.
a
But
tree.
that place,
You can see it's not
yeah.
attached.
And then its arm, what could be its arm, is actually a twig.
A twig.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you take those two things away and then you look at what you're left with, it looks like a very odd, dirty man stood in a ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, this one. I mean, it definitely, there's a good sort of 50% of it that you could say, right, it's pareidolia. But then you look at where its head is meant to be, and if it's not a head, what is it? Come on, let's guess at what it could be.
Astronaut suit with loads of bush and stuff coming out of it.
Or it looks like somebody, what's his name from the Spider-Man movies? The guy with the bubble. The Marvel character. Mysterio. It's a Mysterio with loads of dirt all over it.
Here's
Looking for Spidey.
Yeah.
Here is the wider for Mail Online. Oh dear. That's the sort of wider picture.
Oh, there's a close-up of it, is it?
This is it close up.
No, I mean the one on the right.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's what
Sorry,
it
I
looks like
shouldn't
close
make
up.
jokes at that.
No, this is the lady that took the photograph.
See, now that troubles me as well.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't. No, I could be stereotyping, but she looks like the sort of new age, sort of hippie. With it, I think this is C. I don't think that is a Bigfoot. And I think she knows it's not a Bigfoot, but she's taken advantage.
The fact that it looks strange.
Yeah.
My class rating's pretty good, isn't it?
She's come up against this in the woods and thought, oh, that looks just like a person. I'll take a photo.
Yeah. I don't know if that's bad of me stereotyping, but she does look like a gothic, new age sort of...
Yeah, which is nothing wrong, but I think
There's
what you're
nothing
saying,
wrong
Dan, what I think you're saying, Dan, is that a lot of people that fall into that choice of lifestyle usually are immediate believers, like they believe unquestionably because they have a very kind of purposeful kind of way of thinking.
She has a nice collection of crystals and quite fond of joss sticks.
There you go.
There we are, yeah.
Anyway.
So Dan's just put in chat. Yeah, I just want to go back to Kevin's first, because if I came across something like that in the woods, like I would not have hung around to take a picture. I'd be more scared of that than anything. That looks like some sort of swamp creature that's going to suck my brains out, coming to get me. I would be gone. So
or it's the lion from Wizard of Oz, very dishevelled.
Yeah. But going on to the question that Dan M's asked, which is a good question for some of us to answer, is it assumed that the species can survive in any climate? These alleged sightings are in some very odd places. So I know you missed the beginning of the show, Dan, but we were showing about the different classifications of Bigfoots that have been recorded through Bigfoot sightings, and that's primarily Bigfoot and Sasquatches. But as you know from watching the initial live stream that we did on this subject on the Monte Zone, we talked about how, you obviously have in areas of the world, like around the Himalayas, you have the Yeti. In Russia, you have what's it called in Russia? I can't remember now. I know it's called the Yowie in Australia.
The Yowie.
And something else in Russia or something. But, the four that I was sharing at the beginning, they're definitely from the Pacific Northwest or around the States area. But if you get then into the areas of the kind of Yeti or the abominable snowman, they're a very different species. So I think what this could be claiming is there's like a kind of bog. I would more fit this under the class of wild men, bog men, swamp thing than under Bigfoot. This picture. I thought my cabin was on fire then. I honestly did, because my lighting was making shadows, and I looked at it in the window and it looked like smoke, and I was like, oh no, there's a fire somewhere. Never mind.
So what do we think then? What did we think of A, B, C, or D?
I think it's very easy to go class C on this.
C.
Yeah, C.
Yeah,
C.
I don't think it was staged. I don't think it was intentional, but she's got something that she thought, ooh, doesn't that look scary? How that caught that funny stub, and she's then shared it.
I'm fully on board with a C for that one. And I think Kevin was on board with a C. So,
and I think the class rating is good. You can apply it to almost everything.
It's very good. Yes.
Yeah. So, what other content did I have to share with you guys this evening? Let's have a look. See. There was a few more pictures that I had. These aren't ones that I featured. Oh, that was what I was going to do. So we haven't really talked. Well, we did mention it on the last live stream, actually, we had a small discussion about the Sierra Sounds. I don't know if you remember that, Monte. I'm sure you remember that, Dan, because I think you were the one that brought it up, Dan.
Yeah.
And the Sierra Sounds are quite popular within the Bigfoot community in terms of, so for example, on the offset, when you listen to the footage, and I have the footage to share, and the sounds. So, when you hear the full version, you hear the guys talking on the dialogue, it doesn't sound very genuine. But again, my main man, Thinker Thunker, has done a really good analysis of the Sierra Sounds, and there's a lot that he does in his digital analysis that really kind of helps you lean towards the fact that it's got to be something that we don't know of that's making the sounds. But anyway, let's have a quick listen to the Sierra Sounds. That'd be a cool thing to do, maybe. All ready to share, Monty?
Night view.
By the way, I should probably say that for those of you that are not familiar with the Sierra Sounds, this is two guys out camping. I think it was in the early 2000s, was it, Dan?
1970s.
1970s. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
1970s it was, and they are 8 miles away from any main trails. They are truly in the middle of nowhere. And there was a group of them, they had horses, and they go out there hunting.
Yeah.
The guy
They weren't
hunting
Bigfoot. They weren't hunting Bigfoot, they were just hunting.
No. Yeah. The guy who recorded the Bigfoot, the Sierra Sound, is Ron Moorhead.
Yeah, that's him. So you just heard that you could hear some knocking and stuff, which is a known thing that Bigfoot do, but I'll carry on playing.
Has anybody else managed to record similar sounds since?
Yeah. Just to point out, that is one of the guys
trying to communicate,
mimicking the sounds that they're making.
Possibly really brave, because he might have been just offering them out for a fight.
That's our job. We know where we went for tracks and all that for sure.
Anyway, kind of goes on. Not much longer. Anyway, it's not the. I think the full version is like about 12 minutes long, footage, and you do hear some elements of jibber jabber. But as I said, I did an analysis of this and did all sorts of things about taking certain creatures like a chimpanzee, an orangutan, taking their calls and seeing how it registers on a scale, and also took things like dogs, coyotes, and also Mariah Carey, I think, was one of the people that he was using, because obviously Mariah Carey's got a highest octave range, and some of the sounds that were joined together were going from an incredibly deep octave up to a really high octave, which, you know, he said that was some of the sounds move in the octave range wider than Mariah Carey can go.
Can I just read something out about this?
Of course you can.
So this is taken from the Missing 411 film.
Oh, right, yeah.
So Ron and his team wanted scientific validation of the sounds they experienced at the camp. They submitted their tapes to Dr. R. Lynn Curlin, who is a professor of electrical engineering at the University of Wyoming. Let me just play this along because it's on a video. The analysis revealed that the sounds were made by a creature physically larger than a man. Based on pitch and sound, the height is estimated between 7'3" and 8 foot. There was more than one creature recorded. The format frequencies found were clearly lower than human, and their distribution does not indicate that they were a product of human vocalizations or speed alteration. It also concluded that the tape shows no indication of being pre-recorded or re-recorded. So basically, that's scientific fact.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so for Monte, who probably be new to the Sierra Sounds, the reason why it's so popular within the Bigfoot community is because it has gone under quite a bit of analysis and come out the other side looking pretty solid, really.
All right. So,
All right.
Yeah. Why were they in the 1970s? Why were they in the middle of nowhere with recording equipment? I mean, back in the 70s, it must have been like reel-to-reel tape recording. You know, what do they put that on the back of a horse and cart it out?
Well,
So
just
the
remember
background of it was they've been going to this camp for years,
Oh,
and they've been hearing the sounds for years. So
they-
obviously they wanted to get recordings of the sounds. So
right, they went off specifically with the equipment because they've heard it before. It wasn't just that, we just happen to have what is in the 1970s state-of-the-art recording equipment for capturing this on the off chance.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it was on the off chance, but and I believe the equipment that they recorded on was still quite cheap because they couldn't actually. I think the story goes that they couldn't afford a camera or something like that. But anyway,
something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that, microphones aren't good at capturing sounds from a long way away.
Well, this is why the quality of the recording is pretty awful because, again, it's like, clearly 1970s filmed on old equipment. So anyway,
If I go over to my kitchen and try talking to you, you won't hear me at all.
Yeah.
But
so I do have another video to share that that's disappeared as well. That won't let me share that one either. Why are you being?
And that may add weight to it, as Kevin says in chat. Humans don't have the lung power to project that sound loud enough for that distance for it to possibly pick up on a microphone. So, what could, How could that possibly have been done?
Who knows? I am just going to, because this is starting to annoy me now. I'm just going to try and mail something to you, Monty.
Mail? Oh gosh, we're going old school.
Yeah, because it won't appear for me as a video, but I wanted to share this one as well. So I'm just sending it now.
We'll give
I'm
it
just
a whirl.
going to pop off for a second. I will be right back.
Okay, no worries.
No worries. Just chat amongst yourselves, chat.
Chat amongst yourselves.
Chat amongst yourselves. What do we think about? I suppose we
Sierra
can't really do.
sounds?
We
Yeah,
can't do this.
Still
Can we do
say-
your classification for Sierra
Yeah, you can
sounds?
still do the classification. Is it genuine? Is it mistaken sounds? And
Yeah.
is it?
Give us your classifications then for the Sierra sounds. What do you think?
That should be coming through to you now.
Oh yeah, there we go. Let's move that over there. Sorry, you might have just disappeared. I do beg your pardon. There you go. Right, okay. Oh. I am there, honestly, guys. Don't leave. Don't leave us. Gonna have to do maybe that one.
It's weird why I've got at least about another 3 or 4 videos that when I go to videos, it just won't seem to show them. To share. I don't know whether that's because
There we go.
some sort of block on them. Is it coming up?
What that is? I'm scared.
Can you hear that all right?
Yeah, well, I can, but I don't know about the guys at home. Let us know if you can hear it okay.
Everyone else is hearing it too.
Huh. So yes, that was some more. It's very similar sounds, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't know too much detail about this one. I certainly don't know if it's been, scrutinized and analyzed. I mean, again, there's another piece of video footage because it won't come up that I need to email to you. So let me just do that quickly.
Well, whilst you're doing that, I'll just play it again for Daniel's benefit. And Kevin says there's also similar gibberish talk recorded from Russia, the Almaty Russian Bigfoot. Yeah. Ludicrous wants to know why can't Bigfoot be tracked by experienced trackers and sniffer dogs like they do with other creatures that they want to track down? They're hunting.
Well, nobody's saying that they can, but I don't think anybody's necessarily tried. Also, there's a lot of...
Sorry.
There's a lot of other species that, we have covered, like on the last stream, we've covered that there is other species that's been discovered that was felt to be myth, and they weren't ever tracked down by sniffer dogs or anything like that. So, there's still things out there that we thought weren't real, weren't a myth that, recently have been, found to be true. And again, someone could have asked 25 years ago, why couldn't sniffer dogs find them? I guess it's just because people just don't try to.
Can I come
Yes.
off subject a second?
Yeah, of course you can.
Kevin said some big cats spotted around Warrington, Cheshire area. Thoughts on this? No, there's not. There's no big cats in Britain.
Oh. I
Well,
thought-
that's put that to bed, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
That's one I thought was a subject of interest, Dan, or was that previously, and then you've kind
Oh
of...
no, it still is. I still want there to be big cats out there, but everything suggests that there's not. Or if there is, they are isolated cases that have maybe escaped from a zoo or a private collection, but there's certainly no breeding populations out there.
Anyway, this piece of footage was just something that I thought I'd share, because if you, not so much the Sierra sounds, but if you listen to that footage that we were just listening to that was in the woods, if you listen to, have a listen to this, which is an elk.
All right, dear. That was almost exactly the same.
Yeah, so I think this is sometimes why you need to do your study, because I wouldn't take the Sierra sounds and then say, listen to that and listen to this, but I would take that.
I know what that is. I don't know. Scary.
This next bit, isn't it? That bit.
Yeah.
That was elk, wasn't it?
Something
That
similar
is
has
that.
happened to me when I was a kid.
Ish. That one sounds constipated a little bit. It's got some trouble, that elk, I think. But yeah.
Yeah.
Nicely put.
Yeah, so I just thought I would, because again, in the world of Bigfoot community, that there's a lot of things out there that instantly degrade and take away the integrity of the subject matter. But then there's things that have gone through that scrutiny and they hold up and they stand up well, and it's not easy for someone to investigate to debunk them. And so I just wanted to show the difference between the two, which hopefully I've achieved.
Yeah, and I agree with Mickey there. I think the possibly that one could be considered Class B because I don't think the poster. I don't think they might have thought that, oh, that's elk. They might have thought they had something weird sounding to post and posted it genuinely. But, possibly what they've got there is elk mating calls.
To be honest with you, there's a lot of things out there in the woods and in the forest and the jungles of the world that make very, very strange sounds. But what was interesting about the Sierra sounds, and also some other videos that Thinker Thunk has done some analysis of, and things that have been captured, is that they show the ability of this creature or whatever's being recorded to go from a particular sound register to another sound register that is so far apart that it makes it inhuman. Which obviously then could say, well, it's inhuman, yeah, it's an animal. But then when you stack it up against other animals that are known to be in that area, you just can't match it. So it's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much me on the a little bit of new content there. But the journey with Bigfoot on the G-Star Vault has been a fun one. Certainly with the OMG massive Bigfoot and how that video has taken off. But I will be coming back to the subject again very soon in G-Star Vault.
Along with big cats in the UK.
For me...
Big no question mark.
Yeah. Big cats isn't a subject that I would go into, but on that subject, let's flip it. Big cats, dog men. So we said we were going to talk a little bit about dog men this evening. So
yeah,
Dan's been doing a little bit of prep, got a few things, and I've got a couple of little bits to share.
So this has been frustrating for me because I've not found anything, any sort of pictures or sightings that I feel worthy of sharing. So I've just got a few stories that I'll go into. And what I've done is I've got a story from up here in North Devon. I've got a story from
All right.
down there in South Devon. And I thought Ben was coming on tonight, so I've also got a story from his neck of the woods.
Right.
Oh well, I think I've got a photo from his neck of the woods. Maybe.
I
Maybe
think I might have seen that picture, and I don't know. So the stories, I have them on my phone. Let me get them up. So the first one is the Linton Werewolf. So this is up here in North Devon. So in the 1990s, there were a rash of reports from the Linton area from locals who described seeing an upright and wolf-like creature in the area. So I've got to say as well, I've done dogmen and werewolves, probably more towards werewolves, because they're both canine-like. There are some differences. But yeah. So a woman walking home after dark reported seeing a hair-covered creature, which she described as a grey man with a wolf's head. It was apparently stalking a large rabbit, and the creature vanished when disturbed by a stag that ran out from a nearby wooded area. And this is in Linton, so this is probably about 6 or 7 miles as the crow flies to the east of where I am. Is there any truth in it? I don't know. So this one, I'll come back to this one because this one's quite interesting. We'll go up north now.
Yeah, just for inspiration, Monte, I've got a picture there.
Shall I add that to stream?
Yeah, this is a picture of all the different kind of dogmen that have been reported in.
They're all dogmen, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Dogmen with wings.
There's an anteater
like
man
a
there.
bat-like creature.
I did see a bat that looks similar to this. There's a real bat.
It looks like a dog.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll have to find... I literally, just the other day, I saw it.
Okay.
You'll have to share it with me, and I can share it as a link in the description.
So what's this story from up north then?
So I'm just finding it. So this one... My experience goes back to 2 years ago in North Yorkshire to what can only be described as seeing a werewolf. I'm a logical person. To me, they are something from horror films and science fiction and don't exist. But after hearing what I heard and then seeing it, I now know different. I've Googled everything since to see if anyone has seen anything in that area, but never found anything. It's the first time I've posted, as obviously posting I've seen a werewolf would leave my post open to ridicule. Put it this way, I won't camp out on the moors again. I went for a walk outside my motorhome and can only describe what was a blood-curdling howl exactly as you would hear from a movie. I heard them to the side of me, so they decided to walk back to my van. Then the howls were in front of me, so yes, I started to walk fast. Then I saw the shape of something shaggy on 2 legs, and it was behind my motorhome, stood up. It was about 6 foot tall, shaggy, with glowing red eyes, and stood on 2 legs. It was not a dog, far too big. I've had dogs all my life, never heard a howl as deep or loud. Plus, I've never heard my dogs howl. There was no one around for miles. We were in a pretty remote place, no animals, no farm animals. It was exactly as you would imagine from the horror movies. But I didn't see it close up. Instead, I legged it as fast as I could. I saw the shape of it from a distance. I heard it following me and to the side of me, so it moved pretty quick. It was wandering outside my van for a while, a good 20 minutes, and it sounded like it was underneath. Where was I?
I have that problem on the TNG review all the time.
To be honest, I sat in there quiet and was too scared to look out the window. No one was playing a prank in the morning, nothing. Oh, no one was playing a prank. In the morning, nothing, no evidence. I went to the spot where it would have been, and there was nothing. I went to the spot where it would have been stood, and that's where I get the estimate it was 6 foot. I had lit a fire earlier outside. I'm presuming seeing a fire in the middle of nowhere attracted it. So there's that one. So the last one I've got is from your neck of the woods. And this is the Devon Wolf. And this is 1996. I need to warn people. This is going to be a little bit gruesome.
Well, it's our neck of the woods, so it's bound to be, really.
So, I live in a small town in Devon, UK, just south of Dartmoor. And there have been many sightings of what appear to be werewolves in the fields near here and up onto the moors. The most known sighting was in 1996 and was by Emily Wotton. She was walking near her 2 dogs, a collie and a Labrador Springer Spaniel cross, on the moors in early October when the dogs started going crazy. Then both, at the same instant, turned around and started trying to run in the opposite direction Emily was headed. Emily kept hold of the leads, and while trying to turn the dogs round, she saw a huge creature, about 7 or 8 feet tall, running towards her. It was wolf-like, but the forelegs were much longer and the chest much deeper. It was covered in fine black, grey and brown fur and brilliantly yellow eyes. Tell you what, they don't write these very well, do they?
No.
The snout was longer than either of her dogs, and she could see fangs when the creature opened its mouth. She started to run, but the creature was, in her estimation, at least 4 times as fast as she was. When the creature got about 20 feet from her, the dog suddenly turned round and started barking at it. Emily kept running, but as soon as she looked over her shoulder, she saw the creature stand up on his hind legs and grab the 2 dogs. It then threw the collie onto a rock and ripped her Labrador Spaniel's throat. That's nice. When she got back to town and told her husband what had happened, she was taken to hospital. I'm not sure what happened to her after that, but what I was told is that she died of shock that night.
What Emily did?
Emily did, yeah. To be fair, I think I would die of shock there and then if I'd saw something like that.
Yeah, wow. Traumatizing, but one to definitely investigate. That sounds interesting, especially as it's close.
I want to know where that was.
Yeah, we need to look into that, Monty.
South of Dartmoor, that's all it says.
What was it called? The Devon Wolf.
The Devon Werewolf from 1996.
The Devon Wolf from 1996. Yeah. That is up near Widden Down. I found it on the map of the Deborah Hatswell map.
The thing about that one, Monty, is she does offset the locations.
What is she?
Yeah.
Is
just
that
to
Deborah
keep privacy.
Hatwell? Is that one of Deborah Hatwell's stories? Is it?
They all are, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we do go there, Monty, we're going there during the day, and we're not taking our dogs with us.
No.
So I've got a couple of little bits to share about dogmen, and that is when do you think that the dogmen myth started coming into play?
1887.
All right, Mr. Expert.
That was very specific, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That wasn't a guess.
1887, and funny enough, we were watching a Bigfoot video earlier on about Bigfoot. Oh,
Michigan.
yeah, Michigan.
Michigan,
So
yeah.
same place. So very interesting circumstance that there's a lot of. But that's where the first account of a dogman was reported, and it's always throughout time since 1887 been penned as the Michigan Dogman. And yeah, so I've actually I was gonna, what am I doing here? Yeah, let's share screen. That's what was confusing it, because I already was sharing screen. I just thought I'd share this because this was a bit funny.
Kevin thinks that may be the new Beast of Dartmoor. That story. I think you could be right. I'm going to have to go hunt that one down.
Oh.
I thought that was quite funny. Bigfoot, black or brown hair, 8 to 10 feet tall, up to 1,000 pounds, knocks trees, throws stones, mostly shy, yet curious. Dogman, pretty much just an asshole.
It's true, though.
Yeah, I mean, most of the accounts aren't pleasant ones, but I also do have a picture of a dogman supposedly taken in Michigan, which would be worthy of just sharing with you guys before we check out. So let me just bring it up. All good to go, Monte. I'll zoom in a little bit.
Class A.
So this is taken, I think, in 2018 in Michigan. Now, there's one thing about this picture that interests me, and if I was going to go and do some study and investigation of it, one of the first things I would be trying to ascertain is where is it and what is that building that's featured in the corner, and how big is that building? Because if that is a fairly decent sized building, then that's a fairly big thing that's being pictured, and if it's fake, then it's CGI.
To me, it looks like wherever this thing is closer to, I'm assuming it's a camera, is closer to what the building is, given the perception that it is, the size perception, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, gee, I don't know if you know how this works, but things that are closer to you are larger than things that are far away.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of that Father Ted sketch. He's like trying to teach, he's got like a cow. He's like, small cow, close up. And then he points out the caravan window. Big cow, far away. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's the only sort of like real Dogman picture that I mean, there's lots, but like, and I'm not saying that this is genuine, and like Dan said earlier, that a lot of what you find online just really looks fake. But what's interesting about the Dogman, and why we wanted to mention it on the show, especially attached to Bigfoot, is that the sightings of dogmen are becoming more popular in the last few years, or there's a lot more mention of them. And we were talking at the beginning of the show how that's a lot of the time to do with the fact that there's almost this blur now between a Bigfoot species that has a kind of snout for a nose and is possibly being mistaken as a dogman, but creates maybe an explanation as to why the increase in sightings are on the rise. But yeah, there's not a lot to hold on to with the dogmen. It's a little bit more mythy out there than, I guess, some of the evidence that's been gathered about Bigfoot.
Yeah, I found another picture of it. Well, it's actually a paused YouTube video, but
I think that's what this is.
It's just got a little bit more wider field of view. So you can see a bit more of the house,
Oh, it looks like a barn.
the road.
Yeah, well,
It does look like some sort of barn, doesn't it?
Yeah, my first instinct that it was a barn. Yeah, but again, it's one of those things that is so blurred.
Yeah.
But from a faker's point of view, again, if you were trying to intentionally fake this, yeah, there's some particularly odd choices made about it. Again, really out in the open, really exposed. Yeah, but maybe one that I'll cover in a little bit more detail on G-Star Vault in the future.
Yes.
Give a little bit more background to it. But yeah,
Good plan.
so that's pretty much overall this evening's delve back into the subject of Sasquatch and Bigfoot again, and Dogmen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Kevin. I think if we saw the video and it moves and stuff, I'm thinking CGI, something like that.
Yeah. I've yet to see the video, but I believe that it came from a YouTube video because again, it looks like it's definitely blurred in motion and somebody trying to take a snapshot.
I meant to say at the beginning of at the top of the show, just since we've had a bit of a break, and usually at the start of a Monte Zone, I cover some like maybe news items since we were last on, and I just wanted to say I didn't know whether you'd been keeping up with the story of the James Webb Telescope is finally up in space, and it was successfully launched on Christmas Eve, and it's been through all of it's the most complicated space instrument we've ever launched up into space on a rocket. It's more complicated than any rover, any other satellite or any other mission we've ever done. It's the most complicated thing. And all the myriad of unfoldings and things it's had to do to get itself into position to actually start working, it's all worked perfectly, and it's just about to reach its destination at the L2 point, the Lagrange 2 point, where it's going to orbit and live. And I'm only mentioning it because, from our point of view, it's the best instrument for proving the possibility of life on exoplanets, of other planets in our galaxy.
Yeah, because it can get so much better clarity without having the disturbance of Earth's atmosphere or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it'll actually be able to physically image like the planets around our closest neighbor, Proxima Centauri, which is a dwarf star, but it has an Earth-sized rocky planet in its habitable zone. Its habitable zone's actually closer to the star than Mercury is to the sun, but because the star's a lot dimmer, it's still in the habitable zone, so they think it might have liquid water on the surface. So it'll be interesting to turn that telescope and look at that planet and other planets, and it's going to be up and running very, very soon. So that's exciting.
Fingers crossed moments. Cool.
Hi, Trailblazer. Trailblazer's just popped in. Didn't think we'd still be live. Yes, we are. We're just finishing off, Trailblazer. But yes, it's been fun. We've been talking about Bigfoots. Feel free, if you missed it, to next time you're doing dishes in your kitchen and you want to listen to some interesting chat, have a replay and hit that like button. That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Well, just to answer Kevin's question in chat, also future shows, what's your opinion of TikTok videos? So future shows coming up, we are doing some content. I think we're going to try and get out and get to some locations where in our neck of the woods where things have been reported or cited, and just go and report from there and just feature them on the show and talk about the different accounts. Dan brought one up actually on one of our shows back along. I think it was the original Bigfoot when we were talking about wild men outside Bodmin jail. Oh, not Bodmin jail, Dartmoor prison.
Dartmoor jail, yeah.
Yeah. We've also got some episodes coming up about the Legend of King Arthur. We're doing a show eventually some point in this season about mediums and about the art of medium and talking to
I can
people
come
in
on.
the afterlife. Yep. Is that a subject that one is passionate and knowledgeable about, Dan?
I hate them, but yes, I'll come on and
He'll come on and he'll be the guy on the other side going.
that'll be the one thing I will not beat around the bush on. I'll come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
And then I think we're doing a stint in Jamaica Inn, and we're going to visit some haunted and ghostly located areas. So yeah, we've got plenty of exciting content to come up for the rest of season 2 of the Monte Zone, and we should hopefully be back in a couple of weeks' time.
And I actually have I'll have to post it to you at some point, but I've come across some new UFO footage you might not have seen. That I want to share with you from maybe a G-Star Vault.
Wow, that isn't very interesting. This will be a first. Monty sharing footage for me to look into.
You never know.
And by the way, while we're on the subject and you guys are still with us, please, I'm always trying to get more, especially now with G-Star Vault, I'm trying to come in with an episode every week, on a daily, every midweek. And that's not including story times. Story times is something separate, and that's why they're on their own playlist. But for that content, I need your guys' help. Like, please, if you see things, share it with me, WhatsApp it to me, Facebook.
Yeah, have you seen anything in
us.
TikTok? Have you seen anything in TikTok or
Put a link
anything
in
like that? You think,
comments.
oh, we might be interested? Link us in. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you to everybody and all of your opinions tonight and classifying all the bits with us, saying whether it was Class A, B, or C, or D. Hope you enjoyed the classification rating. But yeah, thank you for everybody for participating.
Yeah, thanks, Mickey.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
Kevin.
Dan for joining.
And thanks, Dan.
Yeah, for joining
Thank
our
you for having me.
longest ever live stream.
Yeah.
Is it our longest? Is it? Oh, I don't
Well,
know.
maybe not. Maybe there was one that was maybe 20 minutes longer. I don't know. There was one where I was starting to think, do you know what? We're starting to get into the Lord of the Rings area here, where somebody could watch our live stream and Lord of the Rings at the same time and finish them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we've got to work on bite-sizing them a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cheers, Maz. Thanks for popping along as well. And yes, we'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks' time for another Monte Zone. If you can't get enough of me, then we'll be putting another TNG episode in the vault next Wednesday. Feel free to come along and chat to me then for that.
I'll be joining the TNG review show next Wednesday.
Oh, yeah?
That's okay. Yeah, I'm on holiday.
Oh, cool.
So
Oh, yeah,
I might as
lovely.
well buzz along.
Yep.
And yeah, I'll be recording in my holiday about 4 episodes of G-Star Vault back to back, just to try and build them up a little bit.
Nice.
And don't forget to check out, as always, when I get round to it, I'll put a link in the description. Check out DG Investigations, Dan's channel, and go and
Thank
show
you
your
very
support
much.
as well.
Oh, yes. Nearly forgot to mention that.
But for now, everybody, have an amazing weekend until we see you next time on the Monte Zone.
Cheers.